Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the September 17th, 2025 monthly board meeting of the Geneva Area City Board of Education. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cybulski.
Here.
Mrs. Krieg.
Here.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon.
Here.
Mrs. Ortiz. And Mr. Pierson.
Here.
Madam Treasurer, are we in compliance with the meeting requirement rules?
We are.
This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. If you're able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any correspondence this month?
I do not.
Any correspondence, Dr. Lombardo?
I do not.
We'll waive the reading and approval of minutes. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Roll call. Mrs. Cybulski.
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg.
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon.
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz. Yes. And Mr. Pierson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Now it's time for the Eagle Team Member of the Month.
Yes. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for being here. I'm excited about this. Not that the district hasn't had any recognition for staff in the past, but I want to tell you just a quick little story why I wanted to bring this forward so quickly in the superintendency is there were a lot of surveys that went out, one to the community, one to the staff, and even during the time when I was meeting with people, what I heard over time and time again is how awesome the staff is in this district. I mean, truly. And if you look back at the survey results, which is actually on the superintendent's page under August 20th, you'll see that our staff is amazing, and it was over and over one of the positive things about our district. So I thought it would just only be appropriate to start recognizing a staff member from every building, as well as transportation and the board, once every month. So we're going to be bringing people forth every month. These are nominations from your peers. So people nominated other people, and I will tell you, we had almost 42 nominations for the first month of this. So what we're going to continue to do is send it out for October, and we're going to keep carrying people over, and we're going to continue to recognize people. So when I call your name, if you can come up, I'm going to hand you a certificate. If you could stand in front, and I'm going to read all these wonderful things that people nominated you about. Okay, you won't know who said what. I'll tell you later. It's all positive. Believe me, that's why you're sitting here.
And then you'll have to give a speech.
And then we'll rate your speech on a scale of 1 to 5.
We have a rubric.
We have a rubric.
And then I'd like you to stand, and Michele and I will come out, take a picture, and then we're going to put it on our website. We really want to make a big deal about this because it is a big deal. Okay? So the winners for the first month are, and they are up there. I'll call your name. Please come up, and then I'll talk a little bit about you. So the first person, I'm going to try to say this right, Helena Moore, teacher at Austinburg. So Helena has been an intervention teacher who has served for more than her caseloads for some time. She cares about students and fights for what they need at all times. She is stretched so thin, but still makes everyone come together. She is amazing. Helena is an amazing intervention specialist. She truly cares about all her kiddos, and if they were her own. Their struggles are hers, their wins are hers. The amount of care and compassion she shows to those students is amazing. Helena's dedication and deep love and care for her students goes beyond the school environment. She works from home, even when sick, to make sure her students have their needs and supports met. She sees who they are as individuals, connects with them, and celebrates and supports them. So congratulations. All right, Deborah Balch from our cafeteria. Deborah? Okay, we're going to read about Deborah anyway. So Deborah does a great job making sure our students get breakfast at lunch, and she is our cafeteria manager. Cafeteria manager plays a vital role in the daily operations of our school. Each day she works hard to ensure that all schools are provided with nutritious, well-balanced meals for both breakfast and lunch. Beyond simply serving food, Deborah oversees the planning, preparation, and smooth delivery of meals while maintaining high standards of cleanliness and efficiency. Her dedication helps create a welcoming environment in the cafeteria where students can enjoy their meals, recharge, and be ready to learn. This consistent commitment to our students' well-being makes a significant difference in the student-school experience. So thank you, Deborah. And from GPS, Shelley Cochran, teacher. Michele Cochran goes above and beyond to create a culture of excellence in the district and inspires her colleagues daily by demonstrating dedication and quality, maintaining a positive attitude, promoting a collaborative team, and encouraging open communication. Shelley should be recognized as Eagle Team Member of the Month for the September at GPS because she has there's a lot here, so we have to positive energy. Her classroom radiates warmth, encouragement, and joy. Students feel safe, supported, excited to learn. Thanks to nurturing environment Shelley cultivates daily. Team spirit. Shelley isn't just a phenomenal teacher, she's a phenomenal teammate. She's always ready to lend a hand, share a resource, celebrate others' successes. Her collaborative nature uplifts the entire Eagle team. Innovative teaching. Shelley brings learning to life. Her creativity keeps students engaged and helps them thrive academically and socially. Student advocacy. Shelley is a fierce advocate for her students. She knows their strengths, listens to their needs, and works tirelessly to ensure every child feels safe and valued. So congratulations. We have the middle school, Jessica George, guidance counselor. Awesome job. Jessica George exemplifies what it meant to be a dedicated and compassionate team member. She shows up every single day for our students, giving her time, energy, and heart to make sure they feel supported, seen, and cared for. But her impact doesn't stop there. Jessica's the kind of person who steps up for anyone in our building, always ready to lend a hand to fellow staff members without hesitation or expectation of recognition. Her consistent kindness, reliability, and selflessness often goes unnoticed, but they are deeply felt by everyone around her. Words truly can't express the gratitude we have for everything she does. Jessica is the quiet force that helps make our building a better place, and she absolutely deserves to be recognized as Eagle Team Member of the Month, which is why you're here. Congratulations. In Randolph, Akram couldn't be here. He's seeing his granddaughter, and there's a birthday, so he says thank you for giving him this honor, and we're going to read about him. Top-notch guy who is a Geneva graduate and has been given the last 35 years of his life to Geneva schools and community. He also coached just about every sport at the high school. A true Geneva Hall of Famer. Randy is always willing to lend a helping hand. Even though he's close to retirement, he is still engaged with students and staff. So I appreciate him. And for transportation, maintenance, and Board of Education, Joseph Toth. Joe has gone above and beyond expectations to ensure the district continually moves in a positive direction. He can always be counted upon when extra help is needed in a variety of areas, and his overall positive attitude throughout stressful times never goes unnoticed by all within the building. Joe provides care in every aspect of his job, goes above and beyond his position. Maintenance for every building in the district, assistant maintenance, mechanic at the bus garage, transportation, sub-school bus driver, and the way this man looks out for everyone, he meets with a smile, makes you want to do the same. Keeps a positive attitude and is willing to go out of his way to talk to anyone. Takes time to look out for others, always willing to help. We love having Joe on our team at Geneva. He's an incredible human. We thank him so much for all his hard work. We're going to come out and get a picture with you.
Yes, take it.
You gotta stay with you. You gotta capture this moment. We have Michele on one side and I'm on this side.
I want them to stand. Right here is where
Yeah, you can show your.
Oh, is she? Yeah. Oh, that's a job. No, but are you sure? Yes, come in. The camera's right there, so I'm saying come stand. Come in, come in. Hi, Grace. Please join us. Yeah, that's genius. Yeah, good. Make sure you're not.
Am I good?
You're not.
Now, we did this at the beginning, don't feel you have to stay. These meetings can be long, you're welcome to stay, but don't feel you have to once you're recognized.
Yay for all of you sitting crisscross applesauce. I'm so proud of you. Yay! I know, but look at them. They made the best of it. Okay, we're going to have a time for public comment. At this time, you'll have 5 minutes to speak. I don't think we have the microphone in here this time, do we? If you would like to speak, you just need to give your name and address, and you're welcome to take a moment. Anyone? Come on up, Mr. Griffiths.
Jeff Griffiths, 130 Pepper Ridge Drive in Geneva. Pepper Ridge, I don't know where to stand.
That looks like a great spot.
Um,
You know what? You might want to move over a little bit.
Oh,
because
camera.
you're in front
Yeah,
of the
you-
camera.
that's
Yeah.
not the side. That's not my no side. No side. All right. Yeah. So thank you very much. I just wanted to comment. I just came from a tennis match, so pardon my middle school tennis match. Pardon my outfit here, but believe in the new sports facility 100%. I just want to continue to echo that. I also believe that the tennis courts at the high school is part of one phase of that plan. Hopefully, is part of that long-term plan. I think our high school tennis teams play both seasons. I think they deserve to play at the high school as much as the other sports. We have a relationship with the United States Tennis Association where they will offset some costs of those facilities, and I'm grateful to Ms. McDermott and I know and Beth, who I think met with Scott Torok and Mike Rose, and so grateful for that information. The pickleball courts that were planned as part of the facilities could be done on court 6 of the middle school courts. You could put 3 or 4 there easily and convert that 6th court at the middle school and still get that objective. It also with middle school they engage in more kids in phys ed, so they would be able to use those pickleball facilities more. I'd hate to not say that, of course, the Geneva tennis program is the winningest program in the school and in the county. If you add up soccer, track, football, basketball, and softball, Geneva tennis still has more conference championships. And we have students playing in college. We have tennis professionals who are as their job across the country have been recognized by the United States Tennis Association as Professionals of the Year, multiple professionals across the country. We have a head coach at William & Mary who's an alumni. Men's tennis coach. So I hope there's some consideration there. I think it's warranted. I think you can do the pickleball thing again at the middle school and convert a court and still have facilities for middle school and high school. Again, there's money there to do it. And so I just would advocate for just that consideration for the whole group. Again, I know I value and appreciate the meetings that you had. I just wanted to echo that as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
It's a good idea.
Anyway, go ahead.
Do your name and your address.
My name's Joe Toby. My address is 2145 Lefevre Road. I've been working for the schools for 3 years now, and I just want to say that I appreciate all of you for what you all do. I know there's a lot of stuff that goes into the whole workings of the schools, a lot more than I realized for sure. I'm just at the brunt end of it. I like to work with my hands and fix things and make people happy and try to get everything done that I can possibly get done. So I just wanted to stand up and say I appreciate you guys too, what you guys do. Everybody plays a part, everybody's role is even if it's a little one, it's a big deal, So, and I wanted to say that what a wise choice with the other people that got picked for what is it, Employee of the Month or whatever. Oh my God, I can't even tell you how awesome Shelley is. I know her; she's a great person. And Miss Jessica George has helped me and my daughter through some really hard times and stuff in the middle school too. So well deserved. And I just wanted to say that I'm going to go try to catch my nephew's soccer game real quick. So, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hey, there's a chair right over there. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Okay.
Okay. All right, report of the superintendent.
Yes, we're gonna start with number one, so we have some approval of some contracts. So the superintendent recommends approval of the enclosed service agreement with Neola.
So moved.
Second.
For a little discussion, I just wanna let you know, I asked Neola, now, for those that don't know about board policies, I'll just give a real quick update on that. So, the board, one of their major roles is to approve policy, which is how the district is run through policies. And then there's what's called administrative guidelines. What administrative guidelines are is what the superintendent approves, which is the day-to-day functioning of those board policies. In a previous district, I was really, I oversaw the board policies administrative guidelines, so really focused on those types of things. So what I've asked Neola to do, and what Neola is an organization that takes all the legislation and they provide templates for districts. When new policies are changed or when the law changes, they send us templates on policies and administrative guidelines. So what I've asked Neola to do, which we have Neola as one of our partners, is to do an audit of all our administrative guidelines. It's really important that we align all our administrative guidelines with all of our board policies. It's just good practice. We're finding that there is a number of administrative guidelines that do need updated, and because of the amount of work, Neola is willing to do that work for, it's a minimal amount of money, but they're gonna go ahead, do all an audit of they do our policies anyways, but administrative guidelines, to allow me to upload those and work with experts on each area so that we're up to date. So this is part of that, one of my projects for the year.
Thank you for that.
Just to chime in, just to talk about a little bit how far ahead of the curve you've been, Paul. At 8:20, so that's 3 weeks ago now. I received notification that the state mandate had passed a bill changing the language that surrounds cell phone usage. The state is going to effectively needs a policy on the books that bans cell phones usage, and they didn't really give us a lot of articulated guidelines. I believe a month and a half before that, Paul had sent us the language for that, and I joked with you about it revolved heavily around personal devices. It listed cell phones as PDAs. So if anyone knows what a PDA is, I think the last time those were largely relevant was 2003 to 2006, meaning that our policy likely hadn't been revised there. So we're ahead of the curve on this, and looking at all the policies with Neola, who already does our policies, means that when we end up handing over a book and our bylaws are written, you're not going to see the same mistakes or outdated policies you've seen years prior, where we navigate, well, how do I even report something that occurred, or how do I know if my child is actually in trouble for XYZ? Because when you're looking at the policy, it clearly defines your cell phone as a PDA or a digital assistant as opposed to whatever they had, an iPad, a Chromebook, what have you. So thank you, Paul.
Yeah, and I've been trying to get this started, this policy committee, for 3.5 years. And so I'm so grateful that you've lit that fire and that I'm included in that. The meeting, even though you were absent, and thank you, Jennifer, for running that, was outstanding. I learned so much. It was just a really productive committee meeting, and the one that I'd been to the previous time was Dave Riley and Amy Brzenko and me. We had nobody from New York, you know what I mean? It wasn't effective. And so this one is, and I'm looking so forward to being part of this and cleaning our policies up, so thank you.
It was very good. Very good. All right.
The only comment I would say is in the agreement, it references Coshocton.
No.
Says that the the materials will be forwarded to Coshocton for final processing.
Oh.
So before we
that's-
sign it.
Oh, that's where their office.
Oh, they're located in
Yeah,
Coshocton.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Even though their address is still, I got it. I'm catching up.
That's a
At
good
least they
catch.
didn't call us Genova this time.
Any other questions, comments? All right, roll call.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
And Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, number 2, the superintendent recommends approval of enclosed gifted identification service plan for this school year.
Need a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
I'm gonna have Ms. Chavi come up and just talk a little bit about it. She's been really working to align our gifted identification service plan. So go ahead, Jen.
Okay, yeah, so in April of this year, the operating standards that regulate identifying gifted services and identification were changed. So in red, I've changed all the verbiage that aligns to our policies here. And then some minor changes with, the how Department of Education and Workforce, because we had ODE in there, so I just changed those. The biggest change with the operating standards is we no longer we're not required to identify students in creative thinking. However, we will still offer that if a parent wants us or its teacher would like their child identified in creative thinking, we will still do that. So that's still in here, but we're not required to do that. So we're only required to do a whole grade level screening once in kindergarten through 2nd grade, and we do that at the end of 2nd grade. And then once again in 6th grade, we do screening.
Jen, can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
And maybe Michele, you can chime in. I did notice that the primary screening is done at the end of 2nd grade.
Correct.
So the end of the window that's recommended or
Correct.
required, right?
Right.
Is that the most appropriate time to do that assessment?
Many districts
question
do it
is-
then.
Okay.
The rationale behind that is if we identify them at the end, we have that summer to prepare services for them. So like if we have a really big year of identifications, then we can hire more teachers to provide the services. If
I'm
we do
saying
it at the
earlier.
beginning- I know,
I'm
if we
saying,
do
why
it-
don't we do it
yeah.
earlier?
Well, if we do it at the beginning of the year, our budget's already set for the year. It's hard to add services at that time.
So once they're
I mean, like
identified, they
first
have to
grader
provide
kids.
Yes,
services.
once we identify them, we have 60 days to notify them and then.
Right,
provide
I'm
them
saying why the end of
services.
2nd grade? Why not kindergarten or 1st grade?
Oh, because, well, that's when normally most districts identify that at that time.
And that's not too late? I mean, it seems like early intervention is better, right?
We'll give an established time for, kindergarten gives principles of phonics, 1st grade is typically your prefixing suffixes and grammar, and then 2nd grade is a mastery of language. So once they are there, you're gonna see the crossover rubric of math into
Yep.
language, into expressive arts, into things like that.
Sure, okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for explaining that. And then the other thing that I did was, instead of having a form, we're gonna have an online form for parents and teachers to refer somebody to be tested. And once they put that information in, I get an automatic email so that we can make sure the student gets tested. So just trying to make it a little easier, and that's already on the website. Once this is approved, this will also be on the website as well, so. Any other questions?
Do the gifted kids get more homework?
No. Well, it depends.
Just wanna bust that myth.
It depends, yeah.
It depends what their
I
time
think
management
it's-
skills are.
Right?
So I just want to give a plug, and thank you, Jen. So Ms. Chavi is really wants to make sure that this gifted program continues to grow. She's probably not going to say this, but I'm going to say it anyways because I'm so proud of you. She's getting trained in her gifted certification, which is a lot involved to get a gifted certification. She's doing that so that not only does she oversee gifted, that she can really understand and work with students. And so I give you a lot of credit for doing that. I appreciate it.
Is there a lot of homework?
Indeed, there is.
Indeed, there is.
Excellent. Okay. Any more questions or discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz? Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
All right, the superintendent recommends that the board approve the enclosed student parent device handbook.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion?
Are there a lot of changes or?
There aren't a lot of changes. Jared did put this together, but there are not a lot of changes to this now.
And do we still have the insurance that is available for it, or is it?
Yes.
Is the district paying for it still?
Yes, that is true. We are still paying for that insurance. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? All right, roll call.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Well, they've all been exciting for me. This is a really exciting one. The super recommends approval of Geneva Middle School 8th grade students to travel to Washington, D.C. in May of 26.
So moved.
Second.
And I know we may have someone here to help explain. Yes! Tony said someone was coming.
Did you just want me to talk now?
Yeah, please.
I'm Alice Cybulski. I teach 7th and 8th grade histories, and I've been in the district in some capacity since 2012. This has always been a dream of ours to be able to do this, so it's wonderful. Thank you for this opportunity to take this forward. Mr. Poland, our previous principal at the middle school, helped get all of this going. Contacted the company, got contracts, and then just because of how things changed over the summer, it sat. So we plan on taking the kids to Washington, D.C., May 19th, 20th, and 21st. So it's a Tuesday. We leave early Tuesday morning. We come back late Thursday night. So it's after testing. It's toward the end of the year.
Alice, I'm sorry, say that again.
19th, 20th, and 21st of May.
Thank you.
So we have the flyers from the company, and of course I'm gonna Traveling Classrooms is the company that we are working with. The trip, it's going to be between $525 and $545 per student, and that includes obviously their trip down. We'll be staying at the Sheraton in Virginia. 8 meals are included, so they'll have 2 continental breakfasts, and then the lunches and dinners will be included in that. They also get free shirts, so each day all of the kids will be in matching shirts, which makes it a little easier to keep track of them as we are making our way. And then we'll have 1 chaperone for every 10 to 12 students. We are waiting kind of for this to all go through to reach out to staff to see what staff is available to help chaperone, and then go from there as far as covering that. And they do cover the chaperone cost for us. Questions?
Is this each student would pay their own way?
Yes. Yeah, and they pay directly through the company, so that the school doesn't have to try to juggle all of those accounts. So the parents can pay online, they can mail in their payment, or they can bring their payment in. One of the reps will come in on the due dates so that somebody can come in and pay directly if that's how they prefer to pay.
I had a question. Tony talked about the dates, because are the dates going to be extended because the date's coming up on September 30th?
Yes. So the initial first payment was September 30th, which obviously is not practical. He bounced that back to October 17th, which isn't a huge push. But now that we have this going, and if everything goes as planned, then we can be preemptive next year and send this stuff home at the end of the school year with the 7th graders, so that they can prepare better over the summer.
Is that payment in full that's due in October? Or
No, it's a $150 non-refundable payment. So the first payment is non-refundable, and then there are options for that money to be refundable. The second payment would be in February, and the final payment would be due in April. I also asked him, because obviously this is a hefty expense, if we did a fundraiser, since we're not collecting the money, how would we distribute that? So he said we could just, like if we had a spaghetti dinner or something for the students to help raise money, then we can send them the check and tell them, you know, each kid gets 10% of this money for each of the accounts or whatever, and they'll distribute it. There's also a grant I'm looking at through American Battlefield Trust. They give up to $3,000 for field trips that somehow incorporate the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, or the Civil War, museums, things like that. They try to be a little bit lenient with things. So as long as we're going to something, so I reached out to them to see how that works, since how we're doing the payments, because I have to show proof after the fact. So I'm working on that to hopefully try to offset some of the costs.
If you want some help with the grant writing, I'm doing a huge research project on Colonel Bennett, with Bennett Court's named after.
Okay.
We were highly involved, our specific area, in the conflicts in Georgia, Antietam, and later Little Round Top. I never knew that. We saw some of the most service engagement 52nd Cavalry here.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr.
I was there
Bennett,
this summer.
yeah,
Like,
Mr. Bennett wrote one of the coldest killer speeches of all time, and he's like, if they want to take our Constitution, then we'll take their lives. And like he literally marched to Cleveland to the Grays and started a 3 Corps and marched down to Georgia with Mr. Sherman.
Yep. Yeah.
So if I could help write, I know it's just fresh in my mind.
Awesome. Thank you.
Alice, do we have any idea how many students are going to want to be interested? Or?
I have absolutely no idea.
Okay.
I'm hoping a lot, but I know, again, that's a huge expense. So that part worries me a little bit for how many will be able. I know when we went to Columbus, how many kids did we take to Columbus? Like 120? So I'm hoping 100 at least.
Well, their class is smaller, isn't it?
Eighth grade's like 150.
Okay.
Eighth grade's 150.
So that would be my goal, is for 100 kids to be able to go at least. And then anything we can do to, you know, plan fundraising to help mitigate some of that for those families.
Is there any way to do some kind of sponsor a child thing, where if there's someone who can't go, in the other opportunity I would think would be like the local Eagles in VFW, they might be willing to sponsor some students to go who can't go.
Yeah, that's an excellent idea. I can
Legion.
reach out and see what they can help
I have
us
phone
with.
numbers if you need them.
Yes, please.
I think it's awesome. I think this is so needed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're talking about 7th grade and 6th grade. They're not going ignored. This was just the biggest one to try to get the ball rolling with. So we'll work out the details for 6th and 7th grade too.
Do you think the State House trip will happen again?
So we're talking about shifting it and the State House being part of the 6th grade trip and doing something different for 7th grade that would also perhaps be out of state, but be a day trip. Not like the 8th grade is the only one with the overnight trip. And then 6th grade do a day trip around Ohio, and then 7th grade an out of state trip. But that all depends on transportation too. I know that was a huge issue for us last year. The district, obviously that's not attainable. That would be crazy to expect 5 school buses to take us everywhere. But just being able to schedule with an organization, like with a company to take us, because there are so many people doing trips that time in May, that it would be a little more difficult to try to orchestrate that, but we'll figure it out.
The company that you're working with doesn't work with transportation, or?
That I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Bob is our contact, and I've only been talking to him, and I didn't honestly think about asking, like, obviously they're doing our transportation for this, but I don't know if they're just contracting somebody or if they have their own buses. That I'm not sure.
Well, it looks
Sounds
like
great.
it says Barron's Motor Coaches.
Barron's.
So is Barron's the company that Travel and Classroom uses, maybe?
That would probably
They are
be
buses.
it.
Yeah.
Barron's and Anders Dixons are the two big players. Yeah.
Yeah, so traveling classroom must use Barron's.
Well, once we get the finances, or even is there a way to gauge interest versus initial down payment? I don't want to make too big of an ask.
So we're planning on Friday or Monday, depending on how quickly we get everything, the details on here finalized and printed, to send stuff home. Bob will come up and do an informational meeting with the parents. We're planning that for October 1st at 7 o'clock.
I might go to that just to
Would you,
see.
I was gonna say, would you be willing to shoot all of us an email as a reminder for that meeting?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because it's a big lift, and if more of us can help with it, especially if there's a child that or family that might not even show an interest because they can't make an initial down payment,
Mm-hmm.
if we can kind of just sign up and pick that lift up and see what that looks like or what that would be, and if possible, help with that. I think that going to the capital at that age is huge.
Yes.
And as a daughter of a veteran, I know there's probably a lot of veterans that might sponsor that trip for a child.
Yes. Yeah, the organizations as a whole and individual
Yeah.
folks, so I'll help you reach out to them.
And they give discounts, because I know we have a few sets of twins in the 8th grade, so they do give sibling discounts.
We have a few sets of twins.
A few,
Wow.
And then,
What was in the water?
they also give discounts like for chaperones, kids. So there's a little bit of offset there as well. So
Great.
Good conversation. So
Great.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
absolutely.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions or conversation? All right, roll call.
Mr. Pierson.
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski.
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg.
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon.
Yes.
And Mrs. Ortiz.
All right, number 5, the superintendent recommends the following personnel actions, and there's a number of them you'll see.
I need a motion, please.
Yes, so moved.
Second.
Oh, the race. Thank you for this list of reclassifications. I'm not sure whose idea that was, but thank you. That's great information to have.
Yes.
Thanks, Shelley.
Any other questions, conversations? Roll call.
Mrs. Cybulski.
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg.
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon. Mrs.
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz.
Yes.
And Mr. Pierson.
Do we have a second?
Yes, we do.
All right, you're gonna have to hear me talk a little bit more, so I apologize for that, but I'm excited to bring you my second superintendent.
One more item.
What did I
One
do?
more item.
Volunteer coaches?
Oh, there's another
Oh,
one.
yeah. Number 6.
Oh, this is separate. I thought it was part. I apologize. The superintendent recommends the following volunteer coaches for the 25-26 school year, and there are 2 there.
Second.
Any discussion? All right.
Mrs. Krieg.
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon.
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mr. Pierson.
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski.
Yes.
I did have a question, actually. It's not really relevant, but is the Brigard related to Jared?
His son.
Is it?
He was also the head of the Geneva Wrestling Club, which is a powerhouse for young wrestlers.
Nice.
All right.
Okay.
I think we're ready.
All right, now you're ready for my second superintendent's report. On the agenda, there are 5 items. A new facilities management program. We've been talking about that. I'll give you an update. We're going to talk about an update on the transportation. I'm going to show you a little bit about the bus rate program. Excited, we're starting the Superintendent Student Advisory Council. I'll tell you a little bit about that. I'm going to touch on the report card data just real quickly, and then I'll tell you what we're going to do up to, in October. And then we're going to look at the scorecard, the first 100-day plan update. So the first thing we're looking at is the new facilities management program update. So we are on schedule to launch this. You may recall we've been trying to computerize our maintenance management system. It helps our schools facilitate operations, work orders, preventive maintenance, asset tracking, schedule reports. All of this, we have everything in the system right now. We are going to be training staff on September 26th, our PD day, and the rollout will be October 3rd. So we will, we're on schedule to roll this out. We're excited about this to make us more efficient and effective with our operations. Okay, as far as the transportation update, want to give you some really good.
I'm sorry, I had a question.
Go ahead.
I was ready. So when you say new facilities management, you mean the program's new, not just talking about the new facility?
Correct. This is a
Maintaining the
new.
entire district with the new system.
Correct. Yes, that's right. It's the new program, not new facilities. I can see why that might look confusing, but thank you for that clarification. All right, as far as our transportation update, since we last talked in September, we have added a 4-day-a-week bus driver who does have a CDL. They are pursuing another career, so they can't work 5 days. If they could work 5 days, they would be a full-time bus driver, and we would open up another route. But he's doing an awesome job. And from the last month, you may recall, we put out, and thank you for approving the trainee program. You'll see that we did approve 2 trainees today. So we have 2 people in our training program. They're started the training. It takes about 2 to 3 months. Kathy Odegaard is actually going to become a trainer, so that will speed up that process. So as long as they stay within the program, in 2 or 3 months, we'll have 2 more certified bus drivers, which will give us so much more opportunity to open up some routes and to do what we need to do. Bus drivers are doing an awesome job in transportation thus far, getting kids where they need to go, but this will give us, 3 people in the last month. I'm very proud that this program has actually paid dividends already. So it's
Excellent. And Kathy.
And
I
Kathy
hear
is,
Kathy good, all the
doing a great
time.
job.
So thank you, Kathy. Yeah.
Now, I wanted to show you a little bit about Bus Right. Now, Bus Right is our new online program that I know people are waiting for. So I'm going to attempt to show you what it looks like. Okay, I have about 2 minutes more training than all of you in this audience. So, but I'm going to do my best. I did work on this. The bus drivers are going to be trained on September 26th. We have all the equipment in-house. They're being installed. And we should have this out sometime in October. So I'm going to see if this works. So I'm going to take you to Bus Right. Now, parents do not have access to the app yet until we open up all the routes, okay? But I just want to kind of give you just a real quick glimpse of what this looks like and what a game changer this is for our transportation department. So they have to create all the routes. So I have an administrative function here to go into all these routes. I'm just going to take you to a route. We do take kids to Spectrum, and this gives you an idea of what a route looks like. Okay, so this is what a route looks like. It really gives the idea of the address, it gives times, and let's just say we get a call from a parent that says, is the drop-off where you're dropping off the most safe for students? Right? In the past, what did we have to do? We had to go out, we had to go look at it. Well, what they can do here, and I'm going to see if I can get this to work, is they can do it right at their desktop. So what this does is I'm going to open up, let's see if I can do this. Okay.
What is Spectrum?
Uh,
We take students to Spectrum?
Yeah, so Spectrum is a location that we take students to. It's just a location that we take students. It's an outside facility that we take students.
Okay.
Okay. So let's just say, this gives you the route of what we're doing. And these are all the stops. Now, let's say number 5 here, and let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Let's say we're not sure on number 5. This is on Trumbull Locker Plant. Take this little guy over here, and I'm going to drop it right here. And what this does is it opens up the actual location of where this route is. And then you can move this route around. And there is a...
It's where I grew up on.
Is that the right?
You gotta watch those.
It's my
You gotta
name,
watch
that's
those
the old
drive.
hood.
All right, and then you see this is where students get picked up. But let's say we wanted to move this over here. We would just move it over here, and we would save this. And then what would happen is when the parent would look at their app, it shows exactly where the location is where students get picked up. So all of our routes, we have 12 routes right now. They're constructing all the routes, and if they wanted to move the route, they just have to click on here and move the route, and it calculates everything. If a parent calls up and says, is there a closer route for me? It calculates the closest route to where that person is, and then you can make that adjustment. So I just wanted to kind of give you a glimpse. Again, I haven't had a ton of training. I went through one training module with this. But this really is a game changer on so many aspects. There's so many different ways. You do AM routes, PM routes. If you need to change a bus driver, you change the bus driver, and in the bus drivers, they have an app that or a Chromebook that comes up, and it shows exactly where the bus driver needs to go. If there's special pickups, if there's special situations, the notes come up right on the application. So if we do have a sub, they'll know exactly what to do and where to do it.
Will it bear in mind when we have inclement weather?
Yes,
Okay.
it does bear in mind. It gives you different routes. If there's an accident, it'll reroute you. And then at the beginning of this, you'll probably see the dashboard. I'm going to disregard this because I don't want to. So you can send notifications out. And you can send notifications to parents, drivers, or administration.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And it's just a matter of putting in the information and sending it. It goes right to the app.
Oh, that's great.
And we have to invite the parents.
Yeah, so what will happen is in October, there is a, the bus ride is really good about the communication, and then we'll send it to parents, and then they'll have to apply or get on the app, put their information in.
But not just anybody can look at our bus routes.
No.
The parent has to be invited.
The parents has to be invited, and then there's a special code that the parent has that they can put in to gather that information.
I was looking at that too because there's 2 cybersecurity rollouts, and what's really cool is each app is encrypted separately, so it has a special lock on it, and it can only be unlocked by your code in your device. So if someone else tries to use your code on a different phone and tries to activate it, it doesn't route back to your phone number and factor in, you throw that little code in, it won't allow them to track anything. So that's actually really, really cool, and the encryption changes. So you'll unlock it every once in a while. You don't have to re-log in, but the encryption keys do change, and this is the first education solution I've seen that does that, which is awesome because right now, I'm sure you're seeing what I'm seeing, there's a lot of low endpoint encryption that's being hacked by people. What they're doing is they're looking at school infrastructure and saying, hey, that computer's really old. Let's see if we can get some information out of it. Processes like this stop that from being an issue later on.
And we do get questions like, what if information changes? Like if someone moves, if data changes on a daily basis. And I get a report every morning about 5 in the morning. There's a data dump every morning that updates everything. And then all the administrators get an email showing the different changes.
So does it work with Final Forms then?
It works with our progress book.
It works with progress.
So the parent can go in and change their address or something like that?
So
Update their information.
if our registrar gets someone that registers or there is a change of address, then it goes from our final forms, it goes to progress book, and it dumps it every night into the system.
So they would still start the way they start, they wouldn't be able to initiate that process from the app.
No.
You can't just change your address on the app.
No, you have to go through our
You have to go through
registration. Our-
I moved.
Yeah, overnight.
Right, what?
But what's nice about it is, right now what we're doing is we're creating documents, and then if there are changes, then we have to change those documents. This is an automatic upload. So I know that was a lot, but I thought it needed to be said because I know transportation is something that's on the minds of everyone. But
Yes,
we are on
certainly.
track to have an October release.
Good, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Huge.
Superintendent Student Advisory Council, I'm really excited about this. So we have grades 9 through 12. The purpose of this is to have meaningful voice in shaping Geneva area city schools, review and connect with the district's mission, vision, and goals, provide input on planning and decision making. I'm going to talk about the students, but this is a student-driven council. So they're going to tell me what goals that they want. And I'm excited to meet with all of them. I'm going to suggest a fundraising event, but they may not want a fundraising event. They may want to do something else. So we're going to go through that. And if the board is okay with this, beginning in October, I'm going to have 2 students from the committee present high school updates at each board meeting. So there'll be, what's going on at the high school, and give each of those students an opportunity for some leadership and for coming and talk to the board and the community. So we'll see how they like that. Our first meeting, we're going to meet monthly. Our first meeting is the 26th. I know it's no school for students, but I actually had 17 that applied and want to do this, so I hope they show up. They're going to show up. They sound like awesome kids. So we're going to meet 17 students have applied, and I did ask them all to come on the 26th. Their commitment will be the remainder of this year with the option to reapply next year. And it was based on application responses, positive contributions. And this 17 students, I've read what they want to do, and they are so excited just from reading it that I'm real excited to meet them and get this started.
Will all of your meetings be this long?
No.
All day.
No, I'm going to talk to the students. I know many of these students are in extracurricular activities, so we're not setting the schedule until we all come together and decide when we want to meet.
Thank you for this as well, Paul.
Oh, you're welcome.
This is another thing that this is dragging my list for a while, trying to get this going, so thank you for that.
Sure, I'm really looking forward to this work with the students. All right, now let's talk about the report card data. The report card data came out at 10 a.m. on Monday. Today's Wednesday, and I want to just give you that perspective. So Jennifer and I and our team is currently looking through all that data. So I just want to give you just a little bit of what the data stated, and then talked about our next step. So we are ranked 3 out of 5 stars. On the 29 schools in the county, here is how we rank. So Geneva Platt Spencer Elementary School is a 4-star school. They actually got a 5-star in progress on growing kids. And they are second in the county out of 29 schools. I think that's absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Congratulations
Let's
to Amy Berzenko and the staff at GPS. I mean, just amazing. We got to give that a round.
Yes.
Geneva High School got 3.5 stars, and they're 10th in the county. And Austin Elementary School is 3.5 stars, and they're 12th in the county.
Who's number 1 in the county in the GPS category?
What's that?
Who's number 1 in the county?
Jefferson.
Jefferson Elementary?
Yeah.
Of course they are.
But I do want to give them a round of applause. The
Yeah.
high school. I also want to say, I don't want to disregard the other buildings. There are a lot of really positive things going on in every one of our buildings. And I want to state that publicly. What our job now is to really look at the data, is to see what we can do to continue to improve student achievement. I know Jen met with the principals yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Tuesday.
That was yesterday.
See this?
You and I don't know how we
Feels
make
like a
it.
Thursday. Yes, yesterday we had.
Yeah, we met yesterday, and we're looking at the data, and we're creating building level action plans based on the data and based on goals moving forward, with collaboration from staff. You've got to have collaboration from staff to do any of this. So what I'm asking the board, if you're okay with it, in October, Jen and I would like to come And my presentation is going to be to do a deep dive into the data and to tell you a little bit about our building action plans and what we're doing to move student achievement forward as a collaborative group. Okay, so that'll give us time from now until October to get that information together. We're going to look at the history and bring that forward to you. So I'm not anticipating an hour presentation, okay, because I don't know if you want me to do an hour presentation. But I do want to do a deep dive and give you the basis of what we're doing so that we can set our goals and that the board is, and the community knows that we're really serious about student achievement, what we're doing.
I am absolutely down for that, and I think the community needs to understand too that, you know, report card data release and what the state rolls out is a constant moving target, and I'm just gonna say it. If the line moves every year, what they assess moves every year, and the performance index changes every year. So what one school is focused on, as you know, I know where I work, you know, we think we're knocking it out of the park, and then our performance index, you think 100's great. We only had 107 this year, but your neighbor over here had 112, and you're like, but I thought 100 was what we were going for. It's a constant moving target. So, you know, it's definitely collaboration. It's definitely getting with your teachers and drilling down in that data to figure out those tiny little gaps where you can, that performance index, you can close it a little bit, because that's where we're going to raise it at. But our teachers are amazing, and our leadership is top notch, and I have absolutely no doubt that it's going to be phenomenal. So, no doubt. Thank you all.
If I can just be blunt, which I think you're known for being,
I don't know, Danny.
these scores would have been a lot higher if we had listened to the staff innately about resources being spread over testing dates. I think I asked about that several times, and I've been told that it absolutely will not be all tested on the same day. And I just want to say that the data will speak for itself, but in your analysis, I think we should look at resources, who we all had on deck. Had it during testing one absence been reported by a staff member, everything would have hit the fan, and I know that I'm supposed to be kind and make an excuse for that, but I don't have one. And if we had listened to staff innately on that, we would have gotten out in front of that. So to see a 3.5 in a school that was having an issue that many people in the audience here today have told us about, I think that we would probably be closer to a 4 than we were.
And so we will be.
All right, and finally, you'll see this probably at every presentation. So the first 100 days, remember, we're building trust, transparency, improved communication and operation, and strengthening staff and student support, enhancing academic excellence. This is also on the superintendent page. I did update this, and it's a scorecard, and it's a personal scorecard for me as well, because I do look at this often, and if you go down to the first 30 days, you'll see that we are completing some things right here. So I'm going to continue to update this. We'll get 31 through 60 days in, and then I'll do another. We'll look at what we need to do, and then I'll keep adding to this so that it keeps me on my toes. Okay. All right. Any questions?
You're up, Mrs. McDermott.
Okay, so, I don't need that quite yet, but I'll throw down. First thing up is the treasurer's financial report. So I did send that to you, really quick yesterday. And I did print off the main draft of this for you, just so you have a copy. And again, we're 2 months into the fiscal year. So this is going against the forecast, which was approved in May, which had the revision that we approved actually last month with the transfer of the funds into our new funds. So right now we are pretty good on track to where we thought we were going to be even last year. Tonight we will go through a new forecast, so this will be changed for next month. But it kind of just outlines where we are revenue-wise compared to last year at this time, and then compared to what we thought we would be also on the forecast.
Shelley, these are so pretty and clear. Thank you. It's so easy to read this
Thank
for
the,
me.
the program we're using, but yes, I
I know,
think,
but you don't even
I
do
think,
it.
you
It's
know,
not just a
reading
spreadsheet that you
financials,
go like-
at least, with graphs and colors are a little more entertaining than a bunch of numbers on
Well,
pages,
it's
which-
easier to digest
Right.
when it's like this, so thank you.
Also, when it says favorable a lot, it's very nice, so. We will stress the word favorable,
Yes.
and it's in highlight, highlighted colors, so. I need a motion in a second, I'm sorry.
So moved.
Second.
Any other questions? Roll call?
Mrs. Milliken Dixon.
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mr. Pierson.
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski.
Yes.
And Mrs. Krieg.
Yes.
I recommend the approval of the enclosed resolution. This is authorization to purchase from Ohio Schools Council school vans and buses. Sorry, let's just go with the motion in a second first.
Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
All right, go.
So this is, every year we approve a resolution so we can go through Ohio Schools Council. They actually do all the research for the pricing on buses themselves and other transportation vehicles we can use. So they kind of do all the legwork for us, so we don't have to go do all the research. So we kind of told them this year we're kind of looking at 2 new buses and 2 vans. So, they take that into consideration on how many throughout all the other districts in Northeast Ohio. Actually, I think it's, what did he say? We have to say Northern Ohio? Oh, we met with Ohio Schools Council. They deal with quite a few.
Yes, absolutely.
Not the second one. Not kind of. Okay, let me make sure. There's 2 different ones. Oh, actually, sorry. We're gonna rescale. So the first resolution is because we are looking to purchase today a 9-passenger van. So that's why we are able to use last year's bid pricing. So that's why the first resolution does say from the quotes received last November. So, in talking with the athletic department, we had purchased some vans last year. They were not 9-passenger vans, they were a little bit smaller. They don't do us a lot of good. So,
That's the first one. I was just gonna ask the same thing.
So yes, the first one is we are actually purchasing from last year's bids through Ohio Schools Council, a 9-passenger bid, which we will take out of our PI funds, to purchase this. They have it in stock, so once we get this approved, we can submit the purchase order to them and we can get that, so it can be used for the golf team. It'll have enough storage in the back to help us take this without taking,
Okay, good.
outsourcing the transportation to do this. So
Yay.
I apologize. So that's what this one is, to purchase this from the bids from last year.
Do they win a lot?
Yeah.
Dennis?
I keep
I
hearing
don't know,
this
is there
too.
someone we can ask?
Dennis says win a lot.
Just been hearing some rumors that they're
Rumors.
a lot.
All rivers.
Actually, it's pretty factual.
Yeah.
Are there any
Perfect.
questions about that now that we've
No
distinguished
questions.
between the 2?
And then number
Perfect.
3 is when you were.
Yes, so then we'll talk about that.
Okay,
So,
so are you ready for?
yes, a vote.
Okay. Any other discussion about that? Okay,
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
And Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Okay, let's revamp. Let's go for the Ohio Schools Council, cooperative advertising and receiving bids for school bus chassis and bodies.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so again, this one really quick is that we are going to participate in getting quotes coming up to purchase, this is where we are looking to purchase 2 new school buses and maybe 2 new vans. Now, we may change that just because we're purchasing 1 now, but again, this does not,
This is just to get the quote.
this is just to get
Right.
the quotes
Okay.
for us.
How many of the 7-passenger vans do we have?
Do we,
7 and 9.
I think we had bought 2 when
I
I
was saying, I thought we had
started.
2.
Two new ones.
So are we gonna get rid of those?
No, because we thought, so we are using one, we have that new pony driver, which we had
Okay,
made
that's a
into
good-
a
yeah,
larger
that's a
position,
good
so
idea.
they are actually taking some of our students there, we've combined it,
Perfect, okay.
instead of outsourcing that.
I'm sorry, what?
So the 7-passenger van,
Wiring along with the Pony Express?
well, it's the same person who's driving pony, she got van certified to carry students.
Oh, that's right.
So instead of making it a
Okay.
2.5
Well, this is
position,
multi-purpose.
our position. It's now a 7-hour position, so she could do
Okay, good.
our student in the morning,
Mhm.
student in the afternoon, and do our inner office in the afternoon, correct? So we're utilizing that. We talked about the gentleman, what is that, CBI?
Oh, yes. It's a,
CBI, yes.
Career-based.
Career-based intervention.
Yes.
So he was using his own personal car to travel to all the businesses for the students. So we are gonna start utilizing,
Perfect. Oh,
it
instead of paying mileage.
instead of paying mileage, right,
Yes.
we're just gonna use our vehicle that we have. So
Excellent.
so
Okay,
yes,
that's
we are
great.
not going to get rid of anything that.
Perfect. That sounds wonderful. Okay. Got it. Love it. All right. Anything else? All right, roll call.
Mr. Pierson,
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski, Mrs. Krieg,
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon,
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz.
Yes. Nothing else
Hate
from
to
you,
lost
Mr. Pierson.
Okay, nothing else from you.
That's enough out of you.
Michele, you're gonna grab that for you.
Oh.
The treasurer recommends the approval of the forecast, which is the projection of revenues and
Wait, it's
expenditures
around my-
for the current fiscal year and the ensuing 4 fiscal years as required by House Bill 12.
So moved.
House Bill 12.
Second.
Okay, so this is a change. Normally, the 5-year forecast was presented in May and November of every year. With the budget bill passing in June, they have changed the dates. So the dates will now be August, by the end of August, and the end of February. Well, because they passed this on June 30th, they thought, let's split the difference between August 31st and November 30th, and they made it October 15th, which is the date of our board meeting next month. So that wasn't gonna work, so instead of having a special board meeting, we thought we would just get it accomplished today. So it's a little bit different, just because they changed it from a 5-year forecast to a 4-year forecast. The software, we are still modeling 5 years out, so you'll see that. But when the information is submitted, it will only be submitted for 4 years. So it does, again, everything will look the same as it has in the past. So I'm kind of just gonna hit the highlights on here because, again, it's not very exciting on most parts, except for the fact the software does make it a little prettier than it's been in the past, right? Overall, we have where we're at today in 2025, what our expenditures are gonna be in the next 5 years, where our cash balance is going, and we'll kind of touch on things that are changing, that kind of stand out, that aren't the norm. This will be posted on the website tomorrow. I've worked with Mr. Maribel, and we have kind of moved the financial information over to the treasurer's page on the website. So instead of trying to search for it and not being able to find it, it's buried in the Board of Education page. All the forecasts are listed. You can click on there and this will be on here. Again, this pretty graph kind of shows where we're at, where the revenues are in blue as compared to the expenditures. 2026, we are actually expecting our expenditures to be a little bit lower than our revenues, which is a great thing. But as you can see, as we go into 2030, that yellow line will go up higher and above our expenditures, deficit spending. Just kind of go. The state is kind of looking at cash balance, cash on hand. Our policy is 90 days is where we have to start getting worried. You can see in 2030, which is again a far way to project, is that we're finally getting close to where we are talking about how to get our cash balance, our cash on hand days increased. Our revenue overall, you can see that 48% in the green comes from local taxes. That's our real estate tax, our public utility tax, and our income tax. As you know, we have the 1.5% school district tax, so that does fall underneath there. State sources, I'll touch base on those. What happened with the new budget that came through, where we stand. So we get state funding, we have restricted funding, and we get a state share or rollback. That's a small percentage, and then we have other revenue. Other revenues would be payment in lieu of that we have for Spire. It is our interest income. Real quick, I just want to touch base on this little graph here, kind of shows our revenues and where it's projected. I just want to point out, we'll talk about the orange on here. That is the falling off of the 2029 income tax and what that will do to our revenue sources and what it'll do to our cash balance. Real estate property tax, again, makes up, this one makes up 29.37%. This is our property tax revenue that comes in. We are on the floor, so we are guaranteed 20 mils of millage here. So that comes into play. So when your property values do increase, right now we are getting a little bit more income from your property tax increase. We are expecting the value to change. They do the updated reappraisals in 2026. So we will see that difference in income coming in. You can see a little bit of a higher spike in 2027. That's where that will start showing up. Here, public property, public utility, that is your utilities. We were just aware, if you look down here, normally we have a value change of about $820,000. Starting in 2027, they said that value change will be significantly reduced on what they're giving us. That will go towards our taxes. And I just got wind of that in the last probably 10 days. Here we go, school district income tax. This makes up 15.79% of our revenues. Real quick, as you know, in 2018, the voters voted on the 1.5% income tax, earned income tax. It went into effect January 1st of 2019. So you can see in fiscal 2029 here. So remember, taxes are on a calendar year, and we are on a fiscal year. So we go July to June. So even though you are going to be paying it through the end of 2029, for us that's only that's only half the year. So we will get the rest of collections that you're going to pay. When you file your taxes in the spring of 2029. So, it's 1.25. I apologize.
So without that, in 2030.
Correct. You can see
We'll be
2030. Yes, we are down.
She means 1.25.
Sorry.
So you guys aren't
Yeah.
freaking
Yeah,
out. It's
it's
not
1.5.
1.5. It's 1.25.
1.25.
What is?
The school district income tax.
Yeah.
1.25. Yes.
It's correct on here, you just misspoke.
Yes, I just misspoke.
Yeah.
So again, it will be a significant, loss in revenue, meaning that we will probably have to go no later than November of 2028. So there is no interrupted collection on that.
And conversations that
Yes.
need to happen.
Unrestricted, this is state aid. So we just did finish with the budget bill for the next 2 years. They are continuing with the current funding, so we are getting 6 and 7 of the years. We do have restricted funding. So here we did talk about in the previous forecast, in 2025 fiscal year last year, we did go CEP, which is the free lunch and breakfast for everyone. So what that did do is it increased our DPIA funds, which are our disadvantaged pupil impact aid funds, for over $1 million. So that is money that is restricted for certain things to help those children who are affected. So if we looked at last year, we kind of lost a little bit of money in our lunchroom. We lost about $200,000, but we gained $1 million that we can spend towards these students. So I did put it in that we were going to continue that. We are continuing that through 2026, just so we could see what it does. and then we can still have those conversations yearly. And with a new food service person this year, she is kind of looking at the purchasing and the menus and where we can make some cost savings on that aspect. So, we'll see what the loss is, if there's any loss at all, this year. And then, like I said, make that decision yearly on continuing that CEP. Local share property taxes, that's homestead and rollback. Those are kind of, those will increase as property tax values increase. There's no new ones coming. This was in House Bill 59, which no new rollbacks since 2013. Again, all other property revenues, other operating revenues. Again, most of this funds are investments. I did change as I came in here. The old treasurer did do self-investing, which is a lot better than I would ever want to do for district funds. So we do have a company, Red Tree, who does handle the investments. And then we also, we have our money invested in Star Bank, which is is where most of the schools do. It's a really quick, I can take my money out at any time. It's kind of just, a nice savings account, which has a higher interest rate than any banks that we can get around here. We do have a little bit of loss coming in 2028, you can see. We do have a payment in lieu of with Spire. They do give us $197,000 each year. That does expire at the end of the Spire contract.
And that's which year? I'm sorry. That's 20.
The last year is 2027, correct.
Yep.
Other funding sources are just miscellaneous things. This year we did, at the end of last year, I did have to advance money to the food service fund. We were negative at the end because of a timing error or timing request. So we did get that money back in July. So you can see that bump up. Normally we don't have that. So those are just rebates and refunds of prior year expenditures. Was a little bit higher in prior years when we had pay to participate, so people, if they paid in July and it was due in June, again, it would fall into here. Expenditures make the world here. So we had higher expenditures and we kind of will touch base, 2025 and going forward and where it goes from there. Personnel is salaries. Account for almost 52% of our budget. We are in the second year of our negotiated agreements, so this is the final year of the teachers union, the GATA union, and this is year 2 of 3 of the OC union, the classified union. Employee benefits make up 26.42. So we had, in 2024, we had a little bit of an extra payment. We did do a plot payment for health insurance to keep the cost lower to the employees. So this year we had a 5% increase after having a 13% increase in last year. So across the board, it's forecasted for another 8. Little things that are coming in on both salaries and benefits. Last year we did have about $400,000 that we had in a student wellness fund that we were given in 2021, which is again restricted things that we can use or to be purchased with that. I had to use up those funds or we would have lost them. So I had $800,000 that we would normally spend in the general fund. I did put to that fund so that $800,000 is coming back this year into the general fund. So we do have a little bump in both salaries and benefits and a little bit on purchase services of things that were purchased last year out of those funds.
Is that the difference then between 25 and 26? Mm-hmm. That's why it drops like that?
Oh, you mean in the overall?
Yeah.
Well, we can kind of look at the different graphs here.
Okay.
And we'll see which one is, Purchase services, those are all our contracted services. Right now, the highest purchase service is probably outside pupil transportation. You know, and it's like that with every district. Everyone is having a shortage of bus drivers. Everyone does have to contract. You know, most people have to contract it. Professional and technical services, that would be our legal fees. There's just.
We're hoping to see that get a little smaller.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Just kind of touch base. Let me kind of touch base on this little large up and downs on this one. This is supplies. You can see in 2025 we were a little bit lower. 2026 we're going to be a little bit higher. We did have the Amplify, which was the curriculum that we did purchase. We talked about it last year, but we paid the bill again. Amplify for K through 5 reading curriculum. 2027 we are set to purchase a new K through 12 math curriculum, and it is about a cost of over $1 million. So we know that is coming, and we will plan for that. Going forward, we will look at curriculums, and so we can plan out in future years. I didn't want to bombard Dr. Lombardo with, okay, I need to know now so I can finish, for 5 years out. So, and we also have fuel costs in there, which again have ebbed and flowed over the years. They're in a good, a little bit better. Capital outlay. So, as talked about when at the end of June, we kind of have made those new funds. So we do have a capital improvement fund. So our buses will no longer come out of the general fund for a few years. We still have some money left in our PI fund, which has gone away after not being voted on or renewed. So again, we are going to keep those costs low, or on the capital improvement, capital outlay, I'm sorry. We have no intergovernmental debt.
So then, Shelley, I'm sorry, so then why does it jump so much from 24 to 25? The capital outlay?
Because it used to come back.
Well,
Oh, because
right.
you switched where it came
because we are switching, yes, we're switching off and on where it came from. So 23, 24, a lot of our buses came out of,
the general.
no, they were actually coming out of ESSER funds.
Oh, okay.
Because you have to remember, yes, we have the runoff of ESSER funds, so things came back in 2025. If we have a large improvement to the building, right? So it's not just a repair and maintenance, it's, if we have a new roof, a major reconstruction of it, it would come out of capital outlay instead of a repair and maintenance fund.
Okay, thank you.
So yes, we've had a lot of, with these grant funds, trying to keep track of where your money and the pots it can go through, and so it's great for a year, but then that was the ESSER cliff, was everything you funded through ESSER eventually has to come back to the general fund. So
Yes. And we did well at that, right?
Yes.
We did that well. We didn't have to drop
No.
off the cliff.
we did not
We
yet.
sort of
The
slid down
things
nicely.
that were purchased in Geneva with ESSER funds were pretty much a lot of one-time
Expendable
purchases.
things.
Correct. It wasn't
Usable things.
correct. It did not. It did cover a little bit
We
of
were smart about
salaries, because we, for extra hours for custodians, for that. Here we have other objects. A lot of this is things we don't have control over. It is the auditor fees for them collecting our property taxes. We did have a payment for a settlement agreement in 2025, which did increase that, which obviously was a one-time, which was why it was larger in 2025. Other financing, these are transfers. So you can see at the end of 2025, we did make that one-time transfer. I made in $7.5 million to the 070 capital improvement funds, and $500,000 to a severance fund. Going forward, most of this transfer in 2026 and on will be for athletics. Again, come February, I will look at to see how our food service account is doing, because we may have to permanently transfer funds there. We did have enough of a reserve balance that I just had to advance it because I knew it was coming, but that may not be the case next year. So this is the main, a summarization of everything, then this is what is submitted to the state. So it does show our cash balance, this year without our levies. We are at 13 million next year, 12.7 the following year. And the only place you see the real drop is going to be as that income tax levy does fall off. But if you do go down to this bottom row on 12.010, if we do renew it, where our cash balances will be. Also, it just included that you can look at, and these are just some fun little graphs so you can, kind of see where everything.
And Shell, where does that?
I do love a good graph.
Yeah, I do love a good graph. So, let's return thought. Give me 1 second. So, what percentage does that give us with the push to lower that percentage of amount of cash on hand we're allowed to have?
Yes, we are,
they're not
we
gonna
are
give up
compliant,
that.
correct. Yes.
Agenda.
Correct.
So,
I would have to run and get you the exact percentage.
No,
but
I just
we-
want-
yes, but with that
that puts us
transfer
at
out,
that level or above that level?
we are right
It was,
around, yes.
it was 40% that was line item vetoed, right?
Correct.
The 40% number. Is that likely to go up or down, do you know? If they're, when they read?
I would be very surprised if they can revive
Okay.
Correct.
that in the veto. And the reason why is it's so egregiously out of touch and has just completely blew through several already formulated fair school funding plans. You're gonna see a lot of bipartisan support and opposition for
Okay.
it because the taxpayers already went from 45 to 65% property taxes in the past 30 years, and they're gonna have a hard time justifying how much of an ask not just us, your local municipalities, your emergency services, your regional healthcare facilities will have to ask if something like that would pass and eventually go elsewhere. I don't want to speculate that I think it would happen. I'll defer to you because you know way more about this than me, but just brief things.
We don't have enough time for me to get started on this.
I don't think that it'll be revived. I don't even want to say a percentage because I don't want to will it into
Right.
existence, but I don't think that that'll happen.
Okay,
I
good.
I
Thank you.
would lean into what he says there. I do not foresee it.
Okay.
To summarize it would be like if I told you you can't have a savings account for a rainy day.
Right.
Correct.
Right? If we had a huge
Correct.
carryover and everyone was getting thousands upon thousands back, I would agree with
Right.
Mr. Thomas. But that is just not the
Not the
case.
case.
Right, and
Yes.
again, with that money being in that capital improvement, we have allocated it to a portion right now of the athletic facility complex.
Correct.
Right,
Yes.
we also do have a 5-year plan, that also spends that money. On there was the new computers, I know we're purchasing new computers for, the lab, so that's so we are using that money as outlined in our capital improvement plan.
And I think that piece of having a plan for those dollars, it's, I can lean into a sliver of just sitting on a pot of money with
Yes.
absolutely no allocation of it serving students or districts, but I think we obviously have a
very good
plan, a solid plan, and great conversations as to what those dollars are going for, so.
Yes.
But yes.
And so that satisfies that. I think that's true. I think the motivation was to make sure that public funds weren't just sitting there.
Well, I take a testament with that because this building we're sitting in was built with 16-year-old funds. So I think that it takes our ability to have a earmark, when someone donates something to a college and they say this is only for potentially gifted kids in the XYZ, or this fund is only to be put on permanent improvement projects, something on this school's campus that lasts more than 5 years. And they give us that designation, I think, saying, well, that person actually doesn't know what they're talking about, we're gonna take that back and redistribute it. I think it has a very strange cousin that most people probably call communism.
Yeah.
And I think that is where we get into strange waters and I don't quite understand
I hear that. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much for your report, Mrs. McDermott.
Want me to vote, please?
All right, go right ahead.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Did you finish? Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
And Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Pierson, legislative report.
So we don't have too much in legislation from the state because now that they're all working on their campaigns to get reelected, most of them are not writing too many bills, as we can imagine. I did want to talk really quickly though, because I've seen a big performative push by a few people, some outright eliminating taxes and some calling for property tax reform. I agree with the push for property tax reform, and really quickly I want to talk about the burden shift that's been asked of people who own property since 1991. So in 1991, homeowners and farmers paid about 47-48% of the total expenses for any given school district. That's an average, right? We'll say that because we're more rural, that picks up a lot. We're talking about farmers, we're talking about people who own property, all right? So 50% of the schools are those people. Since 1991, so that was what, 35 years ago, that's now become about 67 to 70%. They're relying on us. So what that says to us is there's a shift somewhere. And when I looked at it, in those past 35 years, we've basically seen laws, credits, and abatements given to pretty large businesses in the area. For us, it would be what would be the former Gray complex, which really hit us pretty hard. And so in the last triennial update or biannual update, they change it 2 or 3 years quite often. We saw that about 3 to 5% of the houses in this area went up for sale and they sold. And that 3 to 5% raised your house property about 22.5% to, if you're out in Harpersfield, up as much as 30%. Which means that now your house, if it was worth $100,000, is now worth $125,000. And for every $100,000 valuation, your millage goes up. The 20 mil floor that we're guaranteed means innately that the millage goes up, right? So, and that would come towards the auditor's office and the people who formulate that reevaluation. So why am I talking about this right now? With these pushes for our legislative changes, no one has talked about changing the reformulation. No one has talked about entering the equity fair school funding plan, which basically takes the whole amount the state has and shifts it. Trumbull has different needs than Ashtabula Intercity Schools, has different needs than Geneva Schools, who service Rock Creek all the way up to Geneva Lake. And we know that. And the fair school funding was bipartisan, so a Republican, and then a local Democrat, John Patterson's attempt to fix this. And they basically said, well, I don't really like how you do finances. The other person said, well, I don't really understand how you do finances. And they said, well, let's figure this out then. And so they hashed it out and had a really successful result. And it was not just fair, it was equitable. What I mean is financially, it was responsible. Whether you want to call that fiscally conservative or you want to avoid that term is your own prerogative. But what we have is pretty fair funding. In lieu of that, we've seen its elimination, and now we're kind of watching the tax brackets and the numbers and saying, well, there's another evaluation now coming down the pipeline for 2026. What happens? Do our properties go up? And we're not seeing anyone look at that. So a lot of people I've heard have been asking, well, what's the school's role in this? Really nothing. I've seen local officials blame their local school districts, and I did look to see if it was our fault, and it's not. But what I have seen over the past 35 years is those people in 2015 eliminated all of these large corporate entities from paying any tax at all. So if you started a small business or you had an Airbnb at Geneva on the Lake, you'd have to pay that tax. But so long as you're a larger entity, you don't have to use that. You can increase the, let's say, amount of traffic on 534. You can increase the amount of maintenance need on roads that comes back to the taxpayer. You can increase basically the value of our homes and force us into paying more, but you won't have to pay that equitable tax. So I think that if we're going to ask anyone for reform wherever you sit politically, I think that have that conversation with how is it that my property is the entity of which all of this tax is going through, and all these people who've had control of that from the auditor's office, from the state legislature, whether it's the House or the Senate, and say, hey, how come 5% of home sales in 2023 mean now my mortgage goes up $300? I think if we all just focused on that ask of our local elected officials, we'd probably get a more concise answer or a larger push to solve that issue, instead of us having to look to 2030 and say, do we need to pass another effective levy that basically increases 15% of our operating budget? Because I think that's crazy that we're increasing the tax burden on homeowners by 30% and then saying, but we don't really get much more for it. the money has to go somewhere. And
Right.
as much as local elected officials may disagree with me, it's not some secret savings account, because as Shelley has shown us, we're not gonna be hiding any money in here, because she has it all, unfortunately, completely calculated in a way that you can look at for yourselves. This isn't a paper thing where we're hiding it at central office anymore. The answers are here, and if anyone wants to talk about those tax numbers, I'd be, whether we agree or disagree, I'd be willing to sit down and talk about that evaluation process. So a little off kilter for probably what my normal legislative report would be, but just kind of a tax 100.5, if you will, because I had to do a lot of research to understand this, because before that I was not aware of any of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, ATEC.
Okay, so the new academies are in use. They have some minor repairs or final touches that they're doing, but the kids and students are enjoying them. We received a 5-star on the report card for the Career Technical Planning District report card. So in the different areas, achievement was a 3-star. Career and post-secondary readiness was a 5-star, graduation rate was a 5-star, and post-program outcomes was a 5-star. And then at our last meeting, not this Monday, but the Monday before, we had a presentation from the Power Sports classroom, and I believe there were 8 students, but talk about enthusiastic. So, and they're very excited, and they're pushing to get FFA going again.
Yeah, that's awesome.
At ATEC, so hopefully they can do it, because they were very passionate.
Blue Suit Nation, baby.
Good for ATEC 5 stars.
Yeah.
ATEC also wrote that grant that won a ridiculous amount
Yes.
of money. Congrats to everyone involved on that.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, athletic facility discussion. Let's
Okay.
go.
So, as you heard in public comment, we have had some inquiry on bringing up the tennis courts from the middle school to the high school. I did meet with Coach Torek and a representative from the USTA. I'm sorry, his name was
Michael Rose.
Yes, Michael Rose. Oh, the JV coach. Okay, and so they came. They met with me first to inquire about why wasn't this considered, and can we consider it instead of using pickleball courts, where we had put them next to the softball field and the practice fields. Could we fit 6 tennis courts there? This way, all the varsity sports would be on the high school property. And so I kind of did we did some little digging, obviously. They also presented that there is a USTA, which is Tennis Association, grant out there that would put money towards the building of the tennis courts. I think the grant was up to $200,000. Stipulation is, though, they could only be tennis courts only, no pickleball. So it's not like we could line them. So kind of like it was mentioned, Mr. Griffiths, that we could line the middle school tennis courts as pickleball courts.
I'm sorry, that means draw the lines on it so that it's.
Yeah, so they're a
Looks
lot
like a
smaller.
pickleball.
Yeah, so you can play pickleball
Line
on
hands.
those. Yes. So, in talking to our architectural firm who has done the drawings on there, we can. I know you can't see, but we can put 6 tennis courts there, right? They will fit. We could move the 4 soccer fields, the practice fields down. They would fit there. Cost, right? That's always the thing. So the cost they gave me to put 4 tennis courts in would be $464,000.
Is that 4 or 6?
That's for 6.
Okay.
6 tennis courts. They were $77,385 a piece. Times 6 is $464,310. It would replace the pickleball courts that we had in the quote. The pickleball courts were $127,492,000. Pickleball courts were $127,492. No, that's for all. That's put new. That's where we're gonna put the new pickleball courts in, right? In the original plan.
Oh, it's
Right.
not gonna be it's not gonna be the current tennis courts?
We're gonna replace where the pickleball courts were planned that we had included in the price. we're gonna replace those with tennis courts. So the difference from the original quote we received is an additional $336,818.
Why are tennis courts so much more than pickleball?
They're so much larger.
Just bigger.
Oh, bigger.
Yes, much larger.
So then what
So
happens to the
larger, you
maintenance
have
of
to have like regulation distances all around and, yeah, right, it just,
more space?
more concrete
Yes.
or whatever they.
So again, with that though, we have to take into consideration that there is that tennis grant out there for us too.
And that's 200,000?
That max
Up
of
to.
200,000,
Up
correct?
to 200,000.
Right.
So then what happens to the maintenance of the current tennis courts that are turning into pickleball courts?
They would still need to be maintained because the thought is we have a very vibrant middle school tennis program that plays in the fall
And the spring.
and all summer long they have camps. So those courts would still be used for middle school tennis.
Even though there's the size of tennis courts?
Yes.
So there's
They
6
are even.
courts there.
But they're difficult to maintain. Historically, it's been a swampy area and they're
It's on,
every year
it's on a
we have to
huge
spend-
hill. Big.
But we have to spend a lot of money to
Well, they
maintain
haven't
everything.
been, so typically tennis courts have to be
Conditioned.
resurfaced every
Reconditioned.
so many years, and then they actually have to be dug up and replaced every so many years. That hasn't
Well,
happened.
that's true for tennis courts in general.
Yes, so
Oh, I
that's
thought it
why
was
right
just
now
where
we have a
ours
lot
were.
of dips and we have a lot of cracks is because it's ready to be
It needs to be
Ready,
resurfaced.
yeah.
resurfaced.
It's just
Which I
regular
think we
maintenance.
got a quote on that too, but yes, so we would have to maintain the ones at the middle school and the ones at the high school.
I was under the impression that location's bad for tennis courts. That's not true?
I would ask Mr. Griffiths and Mr.
I
Torah.
don't know.
I think you did mention, right, it's kind of by the woods though too, right, so do we get,
Well, it backs up to a private property, but
It would probably be technically.
they've been playing tennis.
I was
on
gonna
the
say,
court
that's
for
I
years.
know.
been our tennis
Since
right.
I was there.
Right. In fact,
Since that was my high school.
not really thinking, that was the question, why are our tennis courts at the middle school anyway?
Yeah.
Me not growing up here.
Maybe it's because of the tough
Well,
training
yeah.
environment, that's why they're so good.
That the high school used to.
That used to be the high school.
Right, yes.
Well, I mean, not that building, but that site.
Yes.
And so that's why I recommended we move, or asked if we could, move the tennis courts to here, to the high school campus at the new facility.
and that's what we're
And
discussing.
just get rid of them.
No.
But now what
Right,
you're
we
saying
don't need
is,
to get rid of them, correct?
now what you're saying
Don't
is you
rile
want
up
them
the
to be.
tennis crowd.
No, I don't mean get rid of tennis.
No,
I didn't
no.
say that.
Right.
Keep the
those
courts.
in the
Those
middle
courts
school.
that I thought were hard, difficult to maintain.
Right.
And as Jeff was saying, they can use them for PE, they can use them for,
Well, and we still
Right.
have a middle school
we have
tennis
it,
program.
right.
Right, okay.
And they can be lined for pickleball, which is, you know, what we said we would offer.
Don't say that either, they're gonna.
I know, we have to drive home tonight, I get it, I get it.
And then,
Murphy's gonna be
and then there's one more ask, so we also had an inquiry of putting an outside basketball
We'll know
court.
where we live.
Say pickleball.
So I did get a cost on an outside basketball court.
That's another ask of community.
It was another
That's
ask of the
awesome.
community. So a unlighted court would be about 80,000. And the lighting would be an additional 40,000. And so it kind of looking at this,
Give me the two numbers one more time.
80,000 for the court.
80,000 for daylight.
Yep.
And
And
how much for
then
night?
additional 40.
That's
additional
40 for
120.
night. Okay.
So again, you know, if we went ahead and did all this, you know, this money would come out of the money that is set aside in that capital improvement fund.
So we've set
That
aside
we've
for.
set aside for capital
All right,
improvement.
so here's another question. Don't we already have outdoor basketball courts in middle school? One. One court, I know my kid played there all the time in middle school. Because they make them leave the property and then they come back to the property.
So this one would be, you know, I kind of looked at the thing, I kind of asked him real quick. So, well, I think we had brought up maybe on the south corner, as long as the fence goes around the stadium, there is a little hole right here.
There's a little
Don't
space, I
get
mean,
that, we're gonna put you in
Right.
a hole.
I think, you know, the bottom line of this is that Dr. Lombardo had attended a city, can I share?
Yes.
He had attended a city council meeting, and I know many of you know that we've been working with Spire, and working on, building that bridge between the district and the community. And so Spire is working with the city of Geneva as their fiscal agent to bring in a community park. That community park is going to have pickleball courts. So when you look at the big picture of having, so up at Memorial, there's pickleball courts there. So if Spire is also going to have a community park that's going to have pickleball courts, as a district, we're hearing the community say, as a board, I've had people stop me literally everywhere and tell me about, we don't really need more pickleball courts. We would like tennis to be there. And again, we're not a tennis family, but I hear what you're saying. Like and I'm really not I played pickleball. It's probably not pretty, but I get that that's a big rec sport for folks. And we were looking at doing something that was going to encompass and bring in the community. And what we were hearing as a board was the very thing that we were looking to link arms with the community was now being something that was once again dividing the community. And that was not the purpose. So when Dr. Lombardo had attended that meeting, he's like, well, hold up, they're doing this. We've got the pickleball courts at Memorial. So maybe we need to take a step back and see what we can do in our build. Can we figure this out? So after we talked to Mrs. McDermott and we realized that, we knew we had put those funds in that 070 account for that, our build project. So and then after talking with Mrs. Cybulski and then Coach Rose and then USTA, which is the Tennis Association, knowing that grant is available that we could apply for. Again, not a guarantee that we would get it, but we could apply for it. And I think that the odds would probably be in our favor that we could probably get that. So that's a nice chunk of money to go towards that. And then knowing that we would apply for that, but we wouldn't be able to line those courts for pickleball, but knowing that there's all these pickleball options in our community that we could say, hey, we're not doing this. We heard what you were saying. We're going to do this instead. And then there was a big push in the community as well for a basketball court here. I get that there's one at the middle school, but we also have this entire community over here, this development over here with kids that are all the time out riding their bikes that come over here. We've got, all the fields back here, soccer, baseball. The high school is a place where families are literally, I know kids come to lift weights early in the morning. There's literally people here from 6 to 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So I think that having a basketball court here would also be a great idea, provided, we can make sure that it's suitable and there's not any, mischief. Officer Yola could probably help us with that. But, okay, perfect. So, making sure that it's a place where kids can come and everybody's safe and using it appropriately would be, also key. There's a little space that, there is some gating around the stadium, the Hopeful Stadium, that would be a possible spot for that basketball area. But again, that's something we could really squeeze in anywhere, honestly. So but the point is we're listening to you, and we want to be transparent in this process. So yes, we have to think about the dollars and cents of it, but we're also thinking about all of these pieces and parts. And with Dr. Lombardo attending council meetings and listening to what they're doing with the city and what Spire's doing and the conversations that we're having with them, again, linking arms, working with the community, having the conversations, figuring this out, and we want everybody to be involved in this. We don't want an undercurrent in the community that's saying, okay, well, here they go again, doing whatever they want to do. No, we want everybody to be a part of this, and we want everybody's support. So I think that's kind of what we're coming to with as far as we hear you, this is what we're thinking, what do you think, and this is where we're at.
Beautiful.
And the ask of the taxpayers doesn't change.
No.
Again, anything that would, difference in price is something that the board would pick up. That is set in stone, 1.96 mils, $69 per $100,000 of assessed value, is what, same thing that, we said that we would ask the taxpayers for is what we're gonna ask. We're just talking about improving what we said we were going to do.
Yes, perfect.
That's a great idea. I just didn't know. That was my question.
Yes.
Don't we already have basketball court? Right. I don't know.
Yes.
So good. Yay.
Yep, so, anyway, that's where it stands, so, okay. Great, any board member comments, reports?
I have a couple of questions. Who's going to Capitol Conference and are we registered? And is anyone else interested in going to the one at the Galaxy in November, October? USBA regional situation. I would like approval to go to that, and if anyone would like to join me, that would be great.
Do you have the date on the exact?
I'm working on it.
October.
October 1st, 5:30 to 8:30, Galaxy Banquet Center in Wadsworth. Out. Anybody else?
I think that's conference week for me, I don't think I can.
Okay. So if it's just me, I still wanna go, so, can I get a motion to allow me to go?
You know what, that's conference week's the next week, I could go to that one.
If you would like to go, I'm going to register you also.
Where is it out? Did you say Wadsworth?
Wadsworth, Galaxy Restaurant in Wadsworth.
Is that Tri-30?
That's where I got my really big award.
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay, thanks, Michelle. And we did Capitol Conference last time, right?
Well, let's take a motion and then I'll throw you
Alright.
in a Capitol Conference.
Okay.
Need a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Okay, so Capitol Conference, we the people who said they were going to attend, so I have Mrs. Milliken Dixon, Mrs. Krieg, and Mrs. Cybulski, Dr. Lombardo, and myself. We are all registered. A little craziness with the hotels yesterday, but we do have a place to stay. As I logged in with at the exact second of 9 o'clock, I was in a queue of 222nd in line.
Yeah.
There were over 1,000 school
It's
districts
crazy.
trying to get a hotel at the same exact moment.
Yes.
So we are a little bit off. It's a very lovely hotel. I will change all the registrations out of my name, so you will get an email in the next 2 days with the information. So we will be for Sunday the 16th and Monday night 17th of November. I did talk to the treasurers at Ashtabula County this morning, and they will have a Ashtabula County dinner again, like last year. That will be on Monday night. So we do have plans for that. Dr. Lombardo and I maybe talked about trying to get together maybe for the 5 of us to have a dinner on Sunday while we're there, so we'll talk about that. Okay. But yes, everyone is
Yes, you dinner. Right?
On Monday.
Monday night.
Monday night.
Yes. Okay.
So yes.
We have a rep for the business meeting.
Yes, we voted
We
on
were
that
for this-
Friday, yes,
okay.
Alright, thank you all.
So I will register both of you for that conference.
Thanks.
Good, thank you. Any other board member comments? Alright, that's all I have. Okay, the board will hold an executive session for the purpose of considering the appointment, employment, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee or official. I need a motion. Roll call.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz? Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Motion carries. 8:23, we will not be taking any action after we come back from executive session. Thank you and have a great evening.